Waste of the week goes to 131 federal judges accused of breaking the law and a New York City program funded by taxpayers. Founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski, joins us right now with his investigation. Good morning.
Good morning, Jan.
Let's start with the federal judges. So the Wall Street Journal reported that more than 130 federal judges violated the law and judicial ethics by hearing cases involving companies either they or family members held stock in. So ultimately, wasting taxpayers' money, since these cases will likely have to be heard again. Break this down for us, Adam. How much are we talking about?
Well, we're talking a lot of money, Jan, and it's a conflict of interest, and it happens with the federal judges whose reputation, by and large, on ethics has to be impeccable. A federal judge has to be holier than the Pope. But what the Wall Street Journal found was that those judges, they looked at 700 cases, and in 131 of those cases, the judges decided a case where they had a financial interest in one of the parties. That is not legal.
So while there's no estimate as to how much it's going to cost to adjudicate some of these cases, we just put a number there on the screen. The estimation right now the taxpayers could be paying is $28.6 million for those 131 federal judges. How did you get that number?
So that's the total cost of the judge's salary, 131 judges times what they make per year, which is approximately $29 million a year on salary and cash compensation. So, Jan, just to break that number down, it's $218,600. That's the salary of a federal judge. But, of course, to rehear these cases, that's not the full story. The judges have a staff. They've got court reporters, secretaries. There's officers in the courtroom for security. Right. So we're talking tens of millions of dollars of cost to rehear these cases.
Not to mention the attorney's fees for the other side. They have to now pay those again as well. Is there any penalty against these judges?
Well, since 1974, there's been a law on the books barring a federal judge from hearing the case if they, their spouse, or their minor children have an equity interest, a financial interest in one of the parties. So the law's on the books. This is being investigated. Stay tuned.
Your organization, Open the Books, also took a look at a $1 billion mental health program headed by New York City's First Lady and also Mayor Bill de Blasio as a result. It's getting a lot of pushback, though, from government watchdog groups and politicians. What were you able to find out regarding the Thrive NYC program?
Well, only in New York City can $1 billion go missing, and there's virtually no accountability for it. So watchdogs have been all over this. Even the New York comptroller is trying to audit the books on that $1 billion. So a local news organization called The City did find where $100 million was spent. And, Jan, it was spent on, quote-unquote, diversion centers. So, for instance, in the Bronx, there was an IRS facility, a large facility, 14,000 square feet. New York City spent $52 million to refurbish that center, and there's been nobody, it sits empty. Another facility in East Harlem, they've had 45 patients. It cost $51 million to refurbish. That's $1.1 million per visit. Jan, and we all thought that a trip to the ER was expensive.
Right.
Turns out that in New York City, it's very expensive to get some mental health care.
Well, these diversion centers were a part of the mayor's criminal justice reform plan as well, if I'm not mistaken. So can you explain what the sell was from the mayor on these centers and how effective have they been for New York?
So the sell was, rather than take somebody experiencing a mental health crisis to jail or to take them to the emergency room at a hospital, you would take them to this special facility. Turns out, $100 million later, that nobody's showing up, nobody's being dropped off. These facilities are, by and large, sitting unused.
Wow. Adam Andrzejewski, always great to talk to you. And we hope to see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jan.